From the Sixers to the fields, one voice cuts through, giving you the real. He wrote the stories, he started the fire, launched the whole game back in '86, never retired. Heroes crown him, yeah, they call him the king. Fur coat flashing, bling bling in every ring. He's the hardest working, great talking dog. Call in with your take, but don't get it wrong. He'll call you a nitwit if you're acting a fool, but deep down you love it. That's the Eskin rule. Riding with the king, yeah, we're riding with the king. Howard Eskin show, let the truth ring. Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, he knows the deal. Philly sports royalty, bow down and kneel. Riding with the king, put your hands in the air. From South Philly streets to the Delaware. No filter, no fear, just the facts on the mic. It's the Howard Eskin show. Let's go get sight. Hey, riding with the king. Riding with the king. Hey, riding with the king. Riding with the king.
Yes, as you're riding with the king, and good morning on the Howard Eskin show. It's just a lot of people have already chimed in to say good morning. Good morning from different parts of the country: Las Vegas, Arizona, Maryland, New York. We got people from all over, and welcome to the Howard Eskin show. There is a lot, as we do on Saturdays, and I welcome you to discuss what I see Hollywood, Florida. What is Tarpon Springs, Florida? What is not a good? It's not. It's not terrible, but it's not good for the Philadelphia teams. Although the Flyers are starting to get it back together again, playing well. Give the Flyers credit. Should give the Flyers a shout out. Really should give the Flyers a shout out. But the Eagles, I would not call this a good week when it opens up for signing free agents. The Eagles, and I've said this multiple times, have issues because they don't have a lot of money under the cap. But we'll talk about that. The Phillies, a couple of interesting things, more than a couple. Same thing with the Sixers, who are just an absolute disgrace. But I want to thank and tell you that this show is presented by Stillwell Financial Advisors. And Jeff Stillwell, he continues to do a terrific job. That's why he's been recognized in the Circle of Success. It's an annual recognition program because Jeff does a great job. He makes a commitment, has a commitment to financial planning and outstanding client service. He established himself as one of the company's top advisors, and only a select number of people and advisors can earn this award. Jeff Stillwell, I suggest just get in touch. 732-343-0813, 732-343-0813. Great guy. Have some fun talking to him just about, stuff. And obviously your financial future. All right. Things we're going to talk about today. What did the Eagles do in signing free agents? What did the Eagles do? They signed Jordan Davis. That's the best thing they've done, but that's their own player. So it doesn't change who you have on the team. He's their own player. It looks like they're trying to trade Dallas Goedert because they keep on pushing back when he can become a free agent. Now it's pushed back as we speak on Saturday. It's pushed back until Monday. So Dallas Goedert, obviously they're pushing it back not to sign him, but to try to trade him. And they're apparently, or obviously, you can select either one of those things, asking for too much. It's just, it's just they're trying to make a last minute deal. That's what it is. The players they have signed are okay. Does that make them a better team? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. We got some other things to talk about. Mark Lawrence will join us. The NCAA Selections come up Sunday, uh, and I don't think there's going to be any shocks and any surprises. These conference tournaments, and I'll get into all that. But first, let me tell you about our other great partners, and one of which is Thomas Chevrolet. I like to pop in there every once in a while, and I usually stop in there every week and understand how it's fun just to stop in. Always look at see what vehicles they have in the showroom, what vehicles they have on display. But it's a family-owned business. That's not a but. That's a good thing. Family-owned, friendly, 38 years in business tells you what you need to know. Business is good. The vehicles are really good. The Chevrolet vehicle, the one that I'm driving, has been rated, and a lot of them are rated highly. The Equinox, very high in Consumer Reports. You got the Corvette, and it's getting to be Corvette season, and they are a certified Corvette specialist. You got the Silverado, the Diverse, the Tahoe. There's some deals on the Silverado. Also, up to $14,000 in savings available, 0% financing available up to 60 months, and fun people. It's fun people. Service department, all makes and models they service. So if you need service on a vehicle, call them, set it up. They do a great job, great people there. And a terrific selection of pre owned vehicles if you're in the market for not just a new vehicle, but you might be in the market for a pre owned vehicle. Thomas Chevrolet. Did I give you the address? 1263 West Baltimore Pike and Media. 1263 West Baltimore Pike and Media, or their number 610 566 8600. Check them out. ThomasChevy.com. And it's a sensational bunch of people there, from the ownership all the way down. Also, another fine partner of the program, Piaza Property Pros. 25 years of experience. The people I have on have done a good job with everybody. Everybody that's a part of this program has done a good job for their clients, for their customers. Piaza Property Pros, the same. You want to get a vision of what your backyard could look like. They can also do your front yard, whether it's putting in a pool, whether it's landscaping, hardscaping, fencing, pool maintenance. Piazza Property Pros can do the job for you. Stopped over there yesterday, talked about getting some pool maintenance, talked about cleanup as we get into the spring, set up your grounds to make them look nice. Piazza Property Pros can do all that. Did a podcast with them. I think it hits next week. Give them a call. 610 566 2608. 610 566 2608. Schedule a free consultation or check them out on the internet, piazzaoutdoor.com. All right. Issues. Are the Eagles better than they were last year? With the signings they made, I mean, some of the people are just, I think most of the people, they may be starters on the Eagles, but they appear to just be backup players. Uh, uh, the Eagles can't do much. I see a question here. What can they do with their cap space? The Eagles can't do much. It just, I see somebody out there said he met me in ShopRite a couple of Sundays ago. Yeah, I do pop into ShopRite over in Brookhaven. I know the owner, Pat Burns, great guy. But it's just I get whatever I need at Shop or talk to the guys at the deli counter. But anyway, it was great to meet you there too. It's just Roman Gabriel. Boy, a guy brings up Roman Gabriel, his yellow Corvette. He saw his yellow Corvette. And it's just I see a comment here, and I'm stunned by this. Any shot of getting Max Crosby? Yeah, I guess, but they're still going to the Raiders are still going to want more than he's worth. Hey, hey, what the Ravens did was nasty. I get it. It was nasty. However, he's had injuries. He's bumping 30 years old. And I don't know. He would be another 1 year player. That's what they've got a bunch of 1 year players. Any chance? I don't know that I want Max Crosby. I don't know. No, it just is he better than what they have? They just signed an edge rusher 1 year. When somebody signs the edge rusher, they sign. I forget the guy's name. He just signed the other day. When you sign an edge rush, or when you sign somebody for 1 year, and he's 27 years old, 1 year, 27, and he's only getting about $7.5 million a year. That tells you he's really nobody. Number one, he wasn't, uh, he wasn't hot for the other. I mean, the other teams didn't want to. Obviously, he couldn't get another deal. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. He couldn't get another deal. 1 year, 27 years old to sign a 1 year deal for only $7.5 million. He was an edge rusher. I see. I see it. Chris Stein. Chris wants to know which team in Philadelphia is set up to win a championship. You hear that long pause? In what year? Chris, in what year are we talking about? I don't think the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles are a Super Bowl team this year. I think the Eagles have to worry about making the playoffs. Really, because the division's better. Eagles are a good team. Are they a Super Bowl team? Yeah, I saw, and social media nonsense is really more or less just BS and nonsense. Are the Rams really interested in A.J. Brown? Anybody would be interested in A.J. Brown. The question is it really serious? No. From what I understand, no, it's not really serious. The Eagles want too much. They want too much. And they're not going to get what they want for A.J. Brown. He's getting close to 30 years old. You don't give up number ones for a player unless you know you're going to win a championship next year, and the number one's not that good. And obviously, the Patriots backed off. I mean, they talked about it, but the Eagles want too much. I'm thinking more and more, and now nothing's going to happen likely until after June 1st, if anything happens, or probably even in training camp. I'm thinking more and more. I'm thinking more and more. AJ Brown's going to be with the Eagles. Going to be with the Eagles this year. So going back to the question, the team that's set up best to win a championship. I don't know. I don't. I don't think the Eagles are going to win a championship in the next couple of years because there's other teams that below them that started to get better. And then there's teams in the conference that are clearly better. It just I just I don't know how their offensive line has got to be retooled. Lane Johnson's back, Landon Dickerson's back, Cam Jurgens obviously trying to get healthy again, but those are all questions for the Eagles. I'm not so sure. I see somebody's not happy with the Phillies. Have the Phillies have a chance to win a championship? No. Well, do they have a chance? Yeah, they have a chance. Well, before I get to the Phillies, let me just there is Pro Football Focus, which I don't agree with all the time, but they put out a list of what the off season's been in terms of acquiring players, and they use WAR as the statistic. With that dynamic in the NFL, the Eagles are 26th. So as far as the offseason, as far as what they have and their signings, It's not what they have. It's what they added this offseason. The Eagles added, they're ranked 26th in the NFL out of 32 teams. First is the Jets, Indianapolis, Tennessee, Atlanta, Washington apparently added some people, Las Vegas, Dallas. Dallas sucks, but Dallas will be better. Looks like the Rams are 8th, Kansas City 9th, and Pittsburgh 10th. Eagles are 26th. All right, let me get to the Phillies. Somebody questioned the Phillies. I'm not sure. They questioned the Real field. I question a bunch of things. The best hitter on the team. The best hitter on the team is Alec Bohm. They got him for one more year, and then he's going to be gone because Aiden Miller will be here. It's not Thompson's fault. I see a point here. Phillies are doomed with Thompson. He just follows the analytics. That's the problem. He just follows the analytics. I'm telling you, it's not his fault. All right, let's look at They're two what are considered their two best players, excluding pitchers. Their two best players are Harper and Turner, right? You consider Harper and Turner their two best players. Bryce Harper in the World Baseball Classic is not doing really well. Bryce Harper has, in his last 2 games, he's had 5 strikeouts. He's hitting, I think, 160. He's hitting 160. He's played, let me just go back here and just get Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper has not played well. Or let's put it this way, he has not hit well. 0 for 5 last night with 2 strikeouts. Bryce Harper for, let me see, Bryce Harper for the World Baseball Classic has all of 3 hits and like 20 at-bats. 3 hits and 20 at-bats. He struck out 5, 6, 7 times in 20 at-bats. 3 hits and 20 at-bats. And Bryce Harper is hitting 150. I'm sorry, I said 160. He's hitting 150. He's hitting 150. All right, now let's go to Trey Turner. And spring training numbers, I will acknowledge. Spring training numbers are almost meaningless and irrelevant. However, you still want to get hits when you go to the plate, and they're facing pitchers. Most teams aren't using the pitchers that they would normally use during the season. So Bryce Harper, he didn't have any hits yesterday, but he walked 3 times. So he was 0 for 1. Bryce Harper is hitting 160. 160. He does not have that. He does not have that many hits. He's got 4 hits in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 games. He's got 4 hits, and they came in 2 games. Do you worried about that? Does anybody worry about that? Maybe. Maybe. So, all right. If people want to join in, I see a comment here. Why is the NBA such a horrendous product? Because because the coaches have no control. No control. Players do whatever they want. It's become a bunch of 3-point shooting, which is horrible. NBA is the worst. It's the worst product I've seen in years. Forget it. The Sixers, we know suck. We know the Sixers suck. So, Joe, do we have anybody on the line? See if people want to join. Okay. So, and then Mark Lawrence will join us. Mark Lawrence is a busy guy. He will join us shortly. to take a look. March Madness. Um, so, all right, we've got Joe wants to join the program. Go ahead, Joe. What's up?
I'm trying to figure out what the hell the Eagles are doing.
Well,
So the way I look at it is,
when you figure it out, Joe, can you let everybody else
yeah,
know?
well, I shouldn't be wasting my time thinking about what the Eagles are doing. But so they wanted to sign Jalen Phillips, who I wasn't all that thrilled with,
Well,
and
I don't think they were going to sign Jalen Phillips because they can't fit him in the cap. Uh, it's hard to fit him under the cap. Uh, it's not fit him in, it's down the line. Remember, they still have to sign Jalen Carter. Then in a year, they have to sign Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean.
yeah. But
So,
how much money are they going to spend trying to fill the hole rather than just sign them? And then instead of wasting all this time trying to find, a Timu signings to fill the hole. I mean, it seems like a waste of their time.
well, tell me what they can do when they don't have enough money under the cap. Here's, and I've tried to explain this, and you've heard me, Joe. When a team is good for years, not only do they have to sign players that are good for them, but players that it's like Milt Williams signed with New England, had a good year with New England. They didn't. They knew that down the line they wouldn't be able. It would screw up their cap. So you lose players. You were going to lose. There's. I don't think there was there was no question in my opinion. They were going to lose Jalen Phillips. They were going to lose N'Kobe Dean. They think Jihad Campbell is going to be the guy that kind of can be, and Nolan Smith can kind of be that guy. You can't sign everybody.
No, but I mean, look at N'Kobe Dean. Okay, now you find out Jihad Campbell's had what, another surgery for his labrum, right? And so
Yeah.
it was,
Yes.
so he's got an injury problem, and they let Dean go. Okay, Nolan Smith has had injury problems,
Yep.
so they're relying upon guys. They're making decisions, not factoring in their injury history and who's actually hurt. Now look at Landon Dickerson. They redid his contract because they know his career is going to be short lived because of all of
I
the.
think Landon Dickerson knew that, and they knew he won't be here. What they did is they took off the last year. He's not going to be here in 3 years.
No, he won't be able to play in 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, he went and got that Semstel, uh, uh, I don't know, a procedure done in Colombia, South America. I guess that's where it is in South America. That Cam Jurgens had done to try to. He's a tough guy, really tough guy, but but he gets hurt all the time, and that's the problem. He gets hurt all the time.
Yeah. So that's my biggest problem with the Eagles. I mean, they're going to have to. Howie's going to have to hit a home run or a grand slam in the draft. I mean,
Uh,
they
yeah, and they don't draft to what 23rd.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's tough. I'm telling you, it's tough when you look at the teams. Somebody asked me earlier, Joe, who's what team has the best chance to win a championship? I had silence. I don't know. Best chance or chance? How do you phrase that?
Well,
Do you-
I still think it would be the Eagles, but
I'm
it's
not
not.
so
It's
sure
not a
with this
good.
team. I'm
Well,
not so sure. Hey, the division's better. The conference is better. Uh, and here, let's break it down. And this is pretty simple. Let's break this down. All right. So their offensive line is not as good, right?
right.
Lane Johnson's coming back, still a good player, but not as good as he was. You got to find a right guard. Uh, so Cam Jurgens, you hope he's healthier. Landon Dickerson, you hope he's healthier. And Jordan Mailata is a good player, but he didn't have as good a year. But their offensive line isn't as good. Forget about the way I break it down, which means their running game isn't going to be as good, right?
Right.
Which means their quarterback isn't going to be as good because he needs both of those things to be a good quarterback. So you tell me
Well,
how
I'm
they're
just
going to
saying.
win a championship.
I'm not saying they are. The question becomes who's got the best chance to win a championship of the four. So I think the Eagles do. I have no faith in the Phillies. The
Yeah, I
Sixers
guess.
are awful, and the Flyers are now winning just in time for the season end. So
Yeah.
I don't have any faith in the Flyers. You know,
Well,
too.
they're not. I think the Flyers are going to win a championship before the Sixers. Sixers won't win a championship
I think
forever.
Howard. I think I will win a championship before the Sixers.
I know it's a complete joke. Well, I'm telling you, and the Phillies aren't a world championship team
No.
because basically the pitching's good, but you saw what happened in the playoffs. They got to score runs.
See, this is my problem with the Phillies hitting. I pitched. I was a decent pitcher. The Phillies, it seems like they're all guess hitters, and it gets them in trouble because, like, just watching the World Baseball Classic, Kyle Schwarber, who hits a lot of home runs, I have never seen a power hitter take more pitches right down the middle of the plate than he does, because he's looking for stuff.
Well, that's all right. I mean,
With the pitcher,
if he wants to be selective, that's fine too.
yeah,
I'm fine with that.
yeah,
I'm
but look
fine
at
with
Bryce
that.
Harper. Bryce Harper is just. This looks like he has no clue, and he's flailing away. He can't stay off the high pitch. He can't hit the high fastball anymore.
We wonder if Dave Dombrowski was right.
Well, he is. He was right.
He was right. He was
Harper's
right. He didn't have an elite season. He's an all-star, but didn't have an elite
No,
season.
he's not
Good
an
player,
elite
but
player
not.
anymore.
Yeah, not the
No
same guy.
question.
Hey, Joe, it's great having you on. Thanks
Did
for
you get my
jumping in.
email, by the way, Howard?
Yes, I did. Yeah, and the answer is yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Howard.
All right. See you, Joe.
All
Take
right,
care.
bye-bye.
All right, let's go. Let's go to Steve D. Is Steve D there, Joe? Let's see if is Steve D there. Is he there? Steve? Your camera might be off, but is your audio working? I hear something there. All right, let's go. We'll go back to him. Let's go to Tony. Tony, what's up?
Howard, you think that Bryce Harper, that might have been a mistake to go play in the USA there?
It doesn't matter. You know, why would it be a mistake?
Well, I mean, now he's showing, his numbers are really,
Well, yeah, but so why would it be a mistake?
well, you'd think that he'd want to, have a better.
Yeah, but
well,
everybody's, it's early spring training for everybody. But the other,
yeah,
there's other players for other teams that are doing well. There's players for that are, Major League Baseball players that are doing well.
there wasn't there a clause that your team wasn't allowed to play in another sport, well, or that sport. Remember, the like in the wintertime, they couldn't play a winter ball because if they got injured, then they, you know, how would be, affect if the Phillies for, playing for the
No,
Phillies.
no, they're okay. I mean, that's the deal, and they're okay.
So they're okay.
No, yeah. I mean, it's just no. Don't worry about the World Baseball Classic. First of all, I don't know how many people are into it. I know it's USA, but a lot of the major league players are playing for other countries, just like they do in hockey, I guess. But at least hockey stops the season, and it's in a part of the season where players are in shape to be able to play their best. Well, whatever. It's just
With the Eagles, getting back to AJ Brannigan, like I said last week, if he sticks around, is he going to boo-hoo and stuff like that, or is he going to, pull his pants up and play for?
you know what, he wants his numbers, obviously, because if he's here this year, and I think there's more of a chance that he's here with the Eagles this year, but we won't know now until after June 1st. I think the Eagles are asking too much.
Or does he play harder to get a better contract for, free agency?
Well, yeah, he's going to play hard to get a better contract. That's what he's going to do. That's what players do. It's like Who's on there last year? Alec Boehm. I think Alec Boehm's going to have a very good year playing for a contract. He won't be with the Phillies next year because they're going to put Aiden Miller in there. They don't want to sign. Obviously, they tried to trade Boehm and nobody wanted to give you what they wanted for him. He's the best contact hitter on the team. No, it just no. It just players on the last year of their contract play better.
And then with the Sixers, every time they pick their pieces back up, they fall back another.
What do you mean pick their pieces up, Tony? Let's just break this down. Stop, Tony, stop. The Sixers suck, Tony. They suck.
Maxey got hurt, and then
you know what? They don't care anymore. They don't care. Embiid is in the locker room half the game. He's eating snacks on the bench when he's on the bench. He's a dog. D-O-G, dog. All right?
Hey, speaking of the other dog, what about Paul George?
Yeah, well, that's another. Two great signings by Daryl Morey. Hey, Tony, have a great weekend. I'll talk to you. See you later. All right, let's bring in Mark Lawrence. Talk a little college basketball. See where we are. The teams come out. The selections come out as we speak on Saturday. They come out tomorrow, which is Sunday. I don't think there's going to be any big surprises in these conference tournaments. It really doesn't make any difference except for a team that probably doesn't belong in the tournament that might get lucky enough to win the conference championship. It's like the team that had hurt. I don't know if Villanova is going to make the NCAA tournament because they lost in the first round of the Big East. But that being the case, Mark, your thoughts on, do you think there's going to be any surprises that come in to the tournament when the selections are made?
No, I do not, Howard. They got this thing down to a science.
Yes, they do.
Unbelievable. The bubble burst, the charts, the Lenardi stats, the Ken Palm stats, everything leading into this weekend and then Selection Sunday, along with mid-majors no longer being much of an obstacle in this tournament here. It's almost obvious who these teams are going to be. We don't have any upstart team here right now, even as we're speaking, that has come from nowhere, a stone losing team that's playing here today that's going to barge their way into the tournament. So I don't think there'll be any surprises on Sunday. No.
Okay. There's going to be somebody from the Miami of Ohio was 31-0 and they lost the first game in their conference tournament. So somebody from that, they would probably be the only team that was going to get in from that conference. So now they have to take Miami of Ohio after a 31-0 season. And now they're going to have to take another team. So that screws up somebody on the edge. But those teams on the edge aren't going to win the tournament anyway.
It's really a non-factor. All it is just talk. It's, for sports talk. Should two teams from the Mid-American Conference make this tournament? Because Miami went 31-0 and then lost, and then Akron's going to win the tournament like they should. We're probably going to see that exception this year, two Mid-American teams, but we're also going to see two Mid-American teams bounced out in the first round.
Yeah, but they're not going to be, because they're not going to be high seeds, so they're going to play somebody in the top 6 or 5 or 6 seeds.
Yeah, they'll be a number 14, 15, or 16 seed is what they'll be from the MAC, right? Yeah. And they'll take on a 1, 2, or 3 seed. It's all mismatch. Last year, Howard, the most disappointing thing about the tournament to me was the fact that because of what they did, what they're doing, the process of rating all these mid-major schools, the NIL and everything, there were only 2 mid-major teams that won first-round games last year. Everything went according to Hoyle. So there were no upsets. There were no surprises. Everybody, that's what the tournament's all about, is doing that. And we're not seeing that. And I don't know if we're going to see it again this year here either.
All right. Before we get to games you like this weekend, is there a trend that you look for when you go into the NCAA tournament? Is there something there that you look for?
Well, yeah, what I look for first and foremost is teams that won their championship game outright as an underdog. And then if they find themselves favored in the first round of the NCAA tournament, you can almost kiss them goodbye. Because they still enter the tournament on a champagne high, and they find themselves changing a role. So look for the team that won as an underdog as a surprise, who comes favored in the first round. You play against that guy for sure. On the flip side of that, the team who lost as a favorite, they make the NCAA tournament. You're going to fade them as well because that loss cost them seeding in the tournament. So instead of being a 1, 2, or 3 seed, they end up being a 5, 6, 7, or 8 seed, and so they're coming with a disappointment chip on their shoulder as well. So watch these championship games and what happens here. Look and see the teams who are favored lose basketball games. That sets the table, and look for the guys that pull the upset to fade them as a favorite.
You know, when you look at this, a 1, 2, or 3 seed is not terrible because you're still going to play the lower half of the teams in the seeding. But if you, as you just mentioned, if you slip down to 5, that could be a little bit of an issue, I would imagine.
It could be a big issue because you don't find too many teams outside of the 1, 2, 3, or 4 seeds that win this tournament with any kind of regularity at all. So you slip down to a 5 or worse seed, you're almost putting yourself into a position that it's impossible to win in because your bracket's going to be tougher. Is really what it all amounts to. So the luxury of being a 1, 2, or 3, 4 seed works because they end up with softer schedules.
All right, if you have a team this weekend that is in their conference championship, do they play the NBA game knowing they're going to get in, knowing if they were a good team? For instance, I don't think whatever Arkansas, and they won last night, whatever Arkansas, I'm using Arkansas as an example,
Right.
whatever Arkansas does now in the conference, I don't think will change their seed that much. I think these people already know what kind of team Arkansas is because they've gotten to this level.
Well, they do. They do. You're right. And if Ole Miss upsets them today, it's still Arkansas, the third best team in the Southeast Conference. It's still John Calipari, and the team will be where it's supposed to be. I don't think an upset at this stage of the conference tournament is going to matter all that much.
Okay, so would you go against? I know John doesn't like to lose games. That's probably a bad example because he's an 8.5 point favorite. Would you go against Arkansas taking Ole Miss in this game?
No. And the reason I would not is this.
Okay.
It's the perfect set for Arkansas in the fact that they arrived here, they won their game and didn't cover. Ole Miss pulled an upset to get here. So now you got a 15 seed off an upset win playing a team that won a game and didn't cover. That almost always spells value to the team that didn't cover. That would be Arkansas here, and I wouldn't be surprised if Arkansas smashes Ole Miss today.
So is that one of the games you like?
No, it's not, only because of the price. It's like my third favorite game, okay? But there's 2 other games I like better, but that's a situation on the card that you want to watch for. Teams upset wins against opponents that won and didn't cover in these conference tournaments this weekend. Watch it today and watch it tomorrow.
All right, who do you like?
The guy I'm going to look today is 2 teams. I'm going to fade the Houston Cougars today and use Arizona in the Big 12 tournament here. The Houston Cougars come off that big win over Kansas last night. They just smashed Kansas.
Yeah, I saw that. Wow.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. But that's part of the reason we're getting there is the fact that teams who beat Kansas in the Big 12 tournament just simply come up totally flat the next game. It's like knocking off the New York Yankees back in 1929 when they were the world champions. The team just come flat. But now they're going to take on Arizona, the number 1 seed in the conference, and you got a win situation for Arizona minus 2.5 points. I like Arizona over Houston. I think they're the better basketball team.
And it's only 2.5 too. Yeah. And Arizona is going to be a number 1 seed somewhere
for sure. And Houston may be if they win this tournament as well, right? So it depends. The winner of this game will be a number 1 seed.
Okay. All right. Who else do you like?
The other guy, we're going to go to a little bit of a nondescript conference here. Or no, we'll keep it here. I like Florida Gators today. I know it's a popular team to hop on, the Florida Gators, because they're cooking, they're smashing everybody, and they're doing all the right things. But they're in a bad situation, or Vanderbilt, who's playing them, is in a bad situation here today because Vanderbilt comes in off of back-to-back underdog wins. And Florida, what did they do their last game? They won, but they didn't cover. So that's that scenario we're looking for. The higher seed that wins off a no cover against a team off an upset win, play the team off the no cover. That would be Florida over Vanderbilt today. I think the party ends for Vanderbilt today. I think Florida rolls over Vanderbilt.
and Florida's 8.5. So
Yes, they are.
it's not a cheap number
No,
either.
not at all.
It's not a cheap number. I see where UConn. I I'm not sold on UConn this year. I think obviously they're very good and they got a chance to be a number one seed. However, I'm still not sold on them. Uh, Rick Pitino lives for this game, and he's an underdog. Who do you like in that game, UConn and St. John's?
You answered your own question, Howard. He lives for this game. He's an underdog. Okay. And that's exactly what he's all about. Rick Pitino. He's the terrific underdog head coach. He's even better in the NCAA tournament. Wait till they get to the NC2A tournament and you play on him all the way out until his team checks out. You'll make yourself quite a bit of money here. He's an excellent coach, especially this time of the year. The number one seed should not be the underdog in this basketball game. I do like St. John's.
I look at some of these games, and are there any underdogs? I think the teams that you like so far. Well, St. John's is a dog. Arizona's a favorite. Florida's a favorite. Are there any other dogs that you like? Underdogs?
Well, yeah, I would look hard at Toledo against Akron in the MAC conference. Akron's basically everybody's given them the championship, and Toledo was the number two team in the MAC tournament before the season began.
Mm-hmm.
They're always capable. They always play well. I would play Toledo plus the 7 there. That's a big number for Akron. They have to get over. The other game I would look at a little bit, I would think maybe might be Wisconsin against Michigan, only
Yeah,
because
I'm looking at.
Michigan does not cover big numbers. And Wisconsin's playing some really good basketball right now. And they're taking how many points are they taking? They're 12 points against Michigan. I would look at the Badgers plus the 12. They're a really nice basketball team who doesn't get stretched out hardly ever too often.
St. Joe's, and I only ask it because it's a local team. The coach has done a good job in his first year. Was named late because their head coach went to be an assistant with the Knicks. Billy Lang left, and Steve Donahue is a good coach, is coaching. They're an underdog against VCU. I know VCU is a good team. Any desire for St. Joe's in this game?
It would be for this reason because you could possibly catch VCU looking ahead to St. Louis, the number 1 seed in that tournament.
Mm-hmm.
VCU, the number 2 seed. So you could have a little bit of a look ahead here. And St. Joe's is capable enough to stay inside that number. I agree with you. I think St. Joe's plus 6.5 has to be the right side there.
All right. Villanova loses the first game in the Big East. What is the conference tournament? If you're going to tell me conference tournaments make a difference, and they don't, and we both know they don't. It's for TV, it's for money, it's all about program, it's all BS. All right. With Villanova losing the first game in the Big East, doesn't that say, well, does Villanova really NCAA worthy if you lose in the first round of your conference tournament?
I think they're absolutely NCAA worthy. You're talking about a 24-win team that finished third in that conference. They just got tripped up in that first round game. They have enough merit. They check enough boxes to be there. Unfortunately, that loss is going to cost them seeding in the tournament. They'll end up being like a number 8 seed, an 8 or 9 seed.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what are the conference tournaments for then?
Well, remember, an 8 or 9 seed's not much, Howard. That's basically barely a seed of a team that barely basically got in the tournament because these other lower seeds are teams from these nondescript conferences or teams that have much worse records. So you got a 24-win team in this tournament who's thrilled to be there, but they will be likely an 8 or 9 seed, a number 7 or 6 seed at best.
All right. If you had to, and you can't just pick, well, you can pick one team. Who wins the national championship? I'll give you two teams. Of the 2 teams, which team, if you had to name 2 teams to win the national championship, which one of the 2 teams or which teams would you pick?
I would have Arizona playing Michigan in the finals.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Depending upon obviously where the bracket draws are. Okay.
Right.
If they're in the same side, they can't do that. But Arizona has been a very, very good, deep basketball team. They lost their best player about a month ago. He's back, and they're playing really well with him again right now. They're going to be really, really a tough out, Arizona is. And Michigan is statistically the best team in this tournament here. They do everything well, scoring, win margin, rebounding, all those sorts of things. So Michigan checks a lot of boxes, and so does Arizona. And I would be surprised if either one of those two does not cut down the nets.
Yeah, uh, there's no mid majors. There's no mid majors that can
No.
win a national championship. They're done because they don't have the players because the other teams pay the players as much. I'm going to quickly jump to football, and I don't know if you've looked at this yet. I know you're so engulfed in the NCAA tournament and putting out the newsletter and doing all those things. Would you, if you had to make a bet on a team winning the conference in the NFL, the Ravens was their number changed dramatically when they signed Henderson. It changed dramatically. Like, why would you want to lay a bigger number because of one player? Do you have any things that you would recommend of to take a shot at an underdog at this point in the NFL? Have you even thought about that?
Well, I haven't looked at it, but the first look I would make would be a team that is not favored to win their division, that shows surprise or shows potential to be there, and look for them to possibly win that and take a plus price in the process. You're not going to get that with Baltimore, obviously, any at all. You're not going to get it with teams that have been deep into the playoffs last year, but there's teams that are making some improvement in the offseason here that I would really take a long, hard look at. Now, who are those teams exactly as we're speaking here? I couldn't tell you because there's
Right.
a whole lot more to sift through. There's more trades and signings and whatnot to be happening. But that's what I would do. I look for these teams that did not win their division last year, that improved in the offseason to make a case for them to win their division.
You know what? I just got a message on the chat board here, and I didn't even think about this. Phil Martelli's son is the head coach of VCU.
Yes.
Phil Martelli, the way he was let go by St. Joe's was a disgrace. And Steve, that's nothing against Steve Donahue. And that person that did that, she's gone. The president of the athletic, whatever her title was, she's gone. But it's really interesting. I didn't even think about this. Will Phil, his son's got to do what he's got to do to win the game. Will Phil try to have his son bury St. Joe's? And nothing against, I know he has nothing against Steve Donahue, but the fact that it's St. Joe's.
I think it's an excellent point. You got two Martellis working there for you. The one that was shoved out
Right.
the door, as you said, and I'm sure the son will get the team geeked up enough to point that fact out to the basketball team.
Yes.
And we talked
Yes.
earlier that they're capable enough. This number is big enough, and you could get VCU looking ahead to St. Louis. That's a great point. Whoever sent that chat in about the Martellis,
Yes.
plural, okay, against VCU. That's an excellent point.
I might back off that game. If I was thinking of St. Joe's, I might just leave it alone because of that reason. He might try to kill them. And Phil's there with him. Phil's not an official assistant coach, but he's there for most of the games to help his son. That will be interesting. And I'm not even going to bring up the NBA because I don't think that league exists anymore. It's just a complete waste of time. You agree?
It's ridiculous, Howard. I finally watched an NBA basketball game this week for the first time all season long. So only because I'm trying to inch my way into the upcoming playoffs and start to get used to the ugliness of the NBA. But I am not a fan at all of the league.
I was invited by a friend of mine. We sat, he had good seats, and he's a good guy. It's my buddy from Oakley, who helps me out with glasses to give away. I went, and I'm saying this, to watch it in person is worse than anything I've ever seen. And the reality is, I thought I was watching a G League game. That's what it was.
Hey, let me ask you a question about the NBA. I'm from Cleveland, and I have obviously the Cavaliers in my blood. And the pickup by James Harden of the Cavaliers looks to have been the perfect component for that basketball team. What is your take on Harden joining that team? Is he going to help the team, or is he going to distract the team? Because he looked pretty good in the game I saw him.
I think the fact that Donovan Mitchell is kind of bonded with him, I think he's going to help that team because you got to get those two guys to play together. Donovan Mitchell's not going to score as many points.
Right.
And Harden knows he's not going to score as many points. They're not LeFraud James. It's just trying to build up his numbers until, he'll play till he's 60 years old just to say that he played till he's 60 years old. No, I think they're going to be one of the teams that you got to watch out for. I think so.
I do too.
Yep.
There's enough young talent there. And you mentioned LeBron James before I get out of here. I was just reading this past week here that the Lakers numbers are much better when he's not in the lineup than he
Yes.
is this season here. Okay.
Yeah, he
Right.
plays no defense. All he cares about is points. It's a joke.
Yes,
All right,
it
if people have interest in Mark's services, 800-321-7777 or on the internet, playbooksports.com. Mark, you have a great weekend, and next weekend we'll be talking about the tournament.
Yeah, we'll get into the second round games on Saturday after the opening round games, and looking forward to it, Howard.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. All right,
Thank you.
Mark Lawrence.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. We'll get back to people that want to join the show. There's a QR code on the screen, and you got links on the chat board. First, I want to tell you about some really important people. They're important to me, and they're important to you. And that would be Stillwell Financial Advisors and Jeff Stillwell, our presenting sponsor. Jeff he's just a good guy. I mean, I shouldn't say that. He's a good guy, but he's more than a good guy because he does great work for his clients. He helps his clients with their financial future. And he's been awarded for that by Ameriprise Financial. He is somebody that if you're interested in setting yourself up for your future, Jeff Stillwell's the guy. 732-343-0813. All right, there's some things I'm going to get into. I'm going to point out, again, I don't think spring training means anything, but some numbers you can't help but look at. I want to get into the Sixers. How about the Sixers? They're playing Saturday afternoon against the Nets, who are 32 games. You heard me right. 32 games under 500. 32 games. This is a disgrace. But I also want to tell you about some other important people to this show. Thomas Chevrolet. I like to pop out there, not far from where I live. So when I'm passing by, let me pull in and say hello and just kind of hang out. And we just talk stuff. But you can talk automobiles with a lot of good vehicles, with a lot of good people, with a family-owned business, and you know that as soon as you walk through the door. 38 years in business, terrific people. The vehicles are great, whether it's the Corvette, the Equinox, Silverado, Traverse, or Tahoe. Hey, it's Corvette season, and they are a certified Corvette specialist dealer. You want service to your car, they'll take care of all makes and models if you so choose. Pre-owned vehicles, they have a great selection of pre-owned, new savings. There's some deals going on right now with the Silverado, also up to $14,000 in savings available on other vehicles. 0% APR financing up to 60 months available on certain vehicles. Thomas Chevrolet, good people, terrific dealership. 610-566-8600 is their number. 610-566-8600, 1263 Westchester Pike in Media. Check them out on the internet, thomaschevy.com. Also, Piaza Property Pros, 25 years. They have a lot of experience in what they do. You want to build something for your property, you can get a virtual look at what they could do, whether it's a pool. And if you want a pool, don't waste time because people are putting in the requests and the dates that Piazza can do the pools. And if you wait too long, it just backs it up. It's not like you build a pool overnight. So get in now when people start to realize summer is not that far away. Even though the weather's been screwy, summer's not that far away, whether it's pool maintenance, building a pool, hardscaping, landscaping, fencing. Piaza Property Pros. Remember that name. A lot of skilled people, 25 years of experience with no subcontracting. Here's the number, 610-566-2608, 610-566-2608. Call today to schedule a free consultation or check them out on the internet, piazzaoutdoor.com. All right. I want to I'm just going to tell you the winner from last show, and he answered the question correctly. Steve Cristinzio. Steve, if I mispronounce your name, I apologize. But what you got is a great dinner for two. Giorgio on Pine. You see it right there, 1328 Pine Street. Great food. Giorgio does a great job, and it's a BYOB. So you can bring your own wine. That cuts down the cost. Well, you're not paying for the meal anyway, so it doesn't matter. You won the gift certificate, dinner for two to Giorgio's on Pine. And the question was Angelo Cataldi, which was an interesting show. And if you haven't listened, I would suggest you listen to it. We didn't agree on a lot of things. And he made some points. I made some points. But he said, I asked for his favorite coach, the coach coach or manager he most disliked, and the player he liked the most. His favorite coach was Doug Peterson. The manager that he disliked the most, or the coach or manager, was Gabe Kapler, and the player he liked the most was Allen Iverson. Steve Cristinzio, you got the answer correct out of the many entries that came in, but you were selected at random, and thank you for being a part of the show. Also, this week, I'm going to have a question that will be coming up, and you will win a Series 1 unopened packs of cards, courtesy of Fanatics. Fanatics is giving me some great stuff to give away for you. A week or so ago, I gave away an Eagles hoodie. I got a Cooper DeJean helmet, a signed helmet, Eagles helmet that I'm going to be giving away, but whatever. Answer the question, submit it to my contact page at howardeskin.com. Have it in by Tuesday at midnight, March 17th, and on the show on Wednesday, March 18th, 7:30. We're live on X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe or follow all of them, but subscribe to YouTube. Share if you want, whatever you want to do, but we will have that prize coming up this week. All right. There is a Sixers team that is just horrible. Joel Embiid is a joke. Nick Nurse is an average coach at best. All he does is bitch at the officials. That's all he does is complain. Your team sucks, Nick. Your team sucks. You don't have enough control of the team. Maxi's hurt. Can you imagine that game today against the Nets being this Saturday? But Embiid, he just bailed. Oh, he's in good spirits. Great. Yeah, he's making $63 million a year. That's why he's in good spirits. Give me a break, Nick. I mean, Embiid is a dog. D-O-G, dog. All right, we have some people. Reed Blankenship had a nice comments about Philadelphia. I'm going to play that for you coming up too. But do we have a Cowboy Jerk? I mean, Cowboy Dope? I mean, whatever his name is he still there? Is that moron still there?
Of course I'm still here.
Yeah.
Of course I'm still here.
Okay.
You're giving away baseball cards? Do they still have bubble gum in there? That's what I want to know.
You are so far behind the times. They eliminated the bubble. And you know what, people, I'm going to answer this question legitimately. People wanted the bubble gum eliminated anyway because it hurt the quality of the card when the bubble gum was sitting on the card.
I collected cards.
See, these cards are going to have an autograph or a retro card in there. So but whatever. It's actually a pretty good prize.
Yeah.
But what did you want to bring to the table today? Or not bring to the table?
Oh, it's just so funny that somebody asked you, who's going to win the next championship in Philadelphia? And you can't even answer it.
I didn't have an answer. Because
3 months,
I don't think
ago
any.
you said the Flyers. 3 months ago,
I said the Flyers will win before the Sixers. They'll win before the Sixers.
So how do you think the Sixers management is going to convince people next year to get season tickets? So what do you think they're going to say? Well, as long as we don't get hurt, we'll be fine. So buy season tickets.
How about wait? I'm going to give you something that you probably didn't know. Last, I don't know if it was Wednesday, Tuesday, last week. One day last week. It might have been Thursday. Whatever. It was one day. They gave a deadline for people to renew, to say that they were going to renew their season tickets. It was in the afternoon. This is a deadline. If you don't tell us, we're going to put your tickets up for sale. Like, who wants those damn tickets anyway? But that's another story. Do you know, an hour after the deadline passed, they announced that Maxi was going to be out for 3 weeks. Now, that has nothing to do with next year's season tickets, but it's negative news.
Sure.
So they are so treacherous, so deceitful as an organization that was the game they played. They knew earlier in the day that Maxi wasn't going to play. So they're
Sure
still
they
trying
did.
to sell tickets. They're trying to sell their season tickets. It was a disgrace what they did. Disgrace. Somebody asked me if Josh Harris knows the way I feel about it. Yeah, he's not a fan of mine. He doesn't like me anytime he may see me, but he's not coming. You know, he hasn't been to town ever since the emails for the Epstein files have come out.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
mentioned 400 times in the Epstein files. So he's not coming to town. It's unbelievable.
Oh, what a great time in Philadelphia it is.
Yeah.
What a great time. And Bryce Harper is a fraud. He's a fraud. He's a phony.
He's not a fraud. He's a good player, but he's not.
Stop.
He's not an elite player
Stop.
anymore.
Stop.
He's a good player.
He's got
27
he
home runs. 75 RBIs. He's a good player, not a great player.
Yeah. He'll just rack up his numbers like LaFraud does against bad pitching.
Yeah, but he's not going to get enough home runs to get him to 500, which would get him into the Hall of Fame. Well, he won't get to 400, I don't think, this year. He's got to hit better than 260. He hit 261 or something last year. It's got to be better than that.
He cried to the Phillies saying, "I need better
well,
people around me."
He shouldn't have been upset.
But he's at the World Baseball Classic around the greatest players today, and he's hitting a $160, $160 with Aaron Judge and all these other
I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah, he's an embarrassment. He's an embarrassment.
Yeah, he's hitting. He's got it's just like 3 hits in the number of games he's played. It's just a joke.
It's embarrassing.
In his last 2 games, he struck out 5 times. Twice
trade the guy.
in the last
game.
game.
Traded. Trade him. Do something. Just get rid of him.
Well, yeah, but he's got to approve a trade.
Alec Boehm would do better at the World Baseball Classic than he did. Come on, you know.
Yeah, but they are. I don't know who their third baseman is, but they had a third baseman. I mean, Harper's he's just a good player. He's not. I'll tell you what, they got 6 years left with him. I don't know. So the Phillies aren't they're not a championship team. They have to worry about making the playoffs. Just like I know you will agree with this. The Eagles are not a lock for the playoffs this year. They're certainly not a lock to win the division.
This is wonderful. I'm enjoying every moment of it. Jerry's making some
great
moves.
But the Cowboys aren't going to win the division.
I don't know. I'm not going to bet you on that, but I'm just saying. They're making some good moves. They're making.
I know,
some good moves.
By Pro Football Focus, they're rated like 7th in the moves so far this offseason.
I just don't want them to waste another year of Dak Prescott. I'm just worried about that. But I have confidence in Christian Parker as the new defensive coordinator. I have confidence in him. But they're getting rid of the players they need to get rid of, and they're signing the right players. So. So I'm enjoying watching the Eagles. I'm enjoying seeing Lane Johnson steal money. Landon Dickerson, who wants to.
Well, hold on. Lane Johnson plays hard. He's not stealing money.
He's stealing money.
With the money that's being paid today. No, Lane Johnson is a tough, hard-nosed guy. He's given it everything he has. Well, he's in the back years of his career.
Just
come
by
on.
Name only.
For you to rip Lane Johnson, now you're really out of line.
He's just by he's just a name now.
You're out of line. Dak Prescott's a fraud. He gets numbers when they're behind. He's a fraud.
Does not do that.
He's a decent quarterback. That's what he is. He's a decent quarterback. That's all he is.
And I'll just say this about the Flyers. Everyone's like, well, let's make the playoffs. You make the playoffs, you're going to play the best team. You're going to be eliminated quickly. What kind of confidence is that going to give the players?
But it gives them the experience of see, you are so clueless. It gives them the experience of the playoffs. Yeah.
To be blown out in the playoffs?
It gives them the experience of that. You are dope. You are a flat out number 1 class A moron, nitwit, and dope. I had Angelo Cataldi on the last show. He called you guys weasels. You're not a weasel. You are a dope.
Yeah, but I look good. I got a tan at least. I got a tan. My
You
hair
better
looks
do
good.
something with your hair.
I spent 2 weeks in
Oh yeah,
Thailand.
where
I'm
did you
done.
go? Yeah, where were you again?
I was in Thailand. I was in Thailand, Singapore.
Boy,
Took
it's
me
too
because,
bad they had flights back. Although you
but
would have called from there.
well,
Although
because of this,
the day's on the other side of the day, right?
well,
The
because of
time.
this, the snowstorm, it took me 4 days to get where I needed to go and 3 days to get back because of the
Oh
snow.
boy, I feel bad for you. All right, get out of here. Get out of here, you
See you,
goat.
dope.
What a moron. Hey Joe, is there anybody else up there? Try to get somebody else in if they're there, if they hung on. Steve D is going to try again. Steve, I hope you got. There you go. Hey, congratulations.
old. I've been listening to you for 30 plus years, Howard. And I met you a couple times. I used to work at the Phillies. So my question is, what are the Eagles going to do? I can't see them winning the division. Would you agree? I hate to say it. I think Dallas is going to win the division.
No, I don't know about Dallas. I think the Giants in the next 2 years, and I told both John Harbaugh and Matt Nagy, both now coaches with the Giants, when I had them on, I think the Giants within the next 2 years will win the NFC East. As long as Jackson Dart stays healthy. Jackson Dart's going to be a very good quarterback.
I totally agree with you, but that's in 2 years. But I'm talking about this year coming up. With the acquisitions we got so far, it's not a wow factor. You know what I mean? It's just I wish they would have paid Dean the money. I'm not going to miss Blankenship. He was an average player.
No, you know what? I mean, I'm going to challenge you on that. And I got a comment from Reed Blankenship. I'm going to bring it up. He said a lot of thank yous to Philadelphia. What Reed Blankenship was a solid player. You have to give him that. But he was the Eagles are starting to lose some chemistry in the locker room. N'Kobe Dean was good for chemistry. Jalen Phillips was only there a short year, so who cares? The chemistry in the locker room is really important. That Super Bowl 52 team won because of chemistry. The Eagles won the last Super Bowl against Kansas City. They were a good team. Kansas City was not that they were a good team. They were not a great team, but there was not as much chemistry as the Super Bowl 52. Chemistry is important, and Reed Blankenship brought chemistry to that locker room, and they are starting to miss that.
You have a great point there. But let me ask you a question: who do you think has a better chance to make the playoffs, the Eagles or the Phillies?
Well, the Phillies, well, actually, you know what?
Yeah,
I think the Phillies. Yeah, but I don't think the Phillies are going to win in the playoffs, and I don't think they're a lock to make the playoffs. Uh, so that's really that's a tough question. That really is a tough question.
the thing that bothers me the most, Schwarber loves batting number one because he gets his homers. But what has it done for us? So he's batting in the middle of the line for USA. Why don't the Phillies bat him third or fourth?
I think this year he was batting number 2 last year. I think this year he'll bat 4 because Harper's starting to whine about having somebody hit behind him. Uh, he'll wear his fanatic stuff, but he's starting to whine. He kind of the subconscious brings it in that. So I think Schwarber's going to hit 4. That's what I think is going to happen.
And you didn't believe me, but my theory is Eagles will not make the playoffs and Nick will be fired next year.
You know what? If they don't make the playoffs, that
Yeah.
could happen. I think he's got 2 years to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Unless he has a great year and for some weird reason he didn't get back to the Super Bowl. But it's not. I think he's a very good coach, very good head coach. But there's an expiration date on all coaches, and after a while, it's a cycle. And there's going to be a cycle for Nick Sirianni. There's a cycle for everybody. Who's the next head coach? You don't know 2 years from now, but I think they have to be a good team for 2 years otherwise. But I don't think he's going to be going after next year. If he doesn't make the playoffs, what's the reason for not making the playoffs? Did they get enough players? Did they keep enough players? That's the whole thing.
we're not going to have Brown, but who are we going to have? They're going to keel on Smith. So what do we do? And I would get Crosby for a second rounder. Would you? if we can get him for a second round draft pick, would you get Crosby?
I don't think you'll get him for a second round draft pick.
No.
I don't think you'll get him for a second round draft pick. So, and Brandon Graham, with all due respect to Brandon, I love you, Brandon, but know when to say when.
That guy, I think. I don't know why he's still playing. He loves the limelight, What I mean? It's really a great show, and I'm happy you're back on the air. But for having me on.
Steve, thanks for joining the show. I appreciate it. Have a great day. And I'm sure it was nice meeting you when I saw you at the ballpark.
See you later.
All right. See you later, Steve. It's crazy. All right. Reed Blankenship made a comment this week. He's on a podcast with Cooper DeJean. I think they're just doing it for laughs and giggles. But that's all right for laughs and giggles. I do it for a lot of reasons. But Reed Blankenship made a comment once he signed elsewhere about Philadelphia. Let's hear from Reed Blankenship.
It's a little sad, but thank you for accepting me for who I was. I was just a little undrafted guy. Didn't really know what to do with my life. I just wanted to play football. Wanted to love the game as much as the fans did. And I was so blessed to land in a spot where fans just were diehard. They loved every ounce of it. If they could, they would strap it on and go play on Sundays. They would go play with you. But most importantly, they kept you humble. And whether they loved you, whether they didn't like you, they let you know. But at the end of the day, that's just what makes Philly different. And I always cherish that. I always cherish all the moments that I've had when I'm walking down the street and somebody just sees me and just lights up. And you're like, wow, it's crazy to think that I could do that to someone. I'm just another guy, just another guy that loves to play football, and God's blessed me to play on Sundays, so just want to say thank you to all our fans.
He's glue in that locker room. He's a solid player, not a great player, good player, solid player. He brought cohesion. His chemistry was really, really good. Somebody here ripped Reed Blankenship. Now called him toast. Reed Blankenship is important for a football team. And I'm going to tell you, he signed with Houston. D'Amico Ryans will get him to play well. He will be important for that defense. And Houston has a good defense, and they've added a good player. So all that said, I think Reed Blankenship is an excellent player for a football team. And if you don't like him, you're making a mistake. Also, I want to urge you. I had so many comments, and I thank you. I had Angelo Cataldi on the last show, and I thank you for all the comments. There was some nitwits and some losers and some haters, but 90% of the people were really, really enjoyed it. And believe it or not, I enjoyed it too. Angelo had a birthday yesterday, so happy birthday, Angelo Cataldi. If you haven't listened to the show, I urge you to listen to it. And if you have, I hope you enjoyed it. Obviously, you can listen to this show if you missed some things. All right, here's the question for today to win the Topps unopened pack of Series 1 baseball cards. Mark Lawrence, his top 2 picks for college basketball this weekend. What were his top 2 picks? Submit your answer to the contact page at howardeskin.com by Tuesday, March 17th, by midnight Tuesday. And the show on Wednesday, March 18th at 7:30, we'll announce the winner live on X, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe to YouTube. And a winner will be chosen at random. Thank you to Fanatics and those baseball cards. And Fanatics has given me other stuff, other items to give away as well. I see Mark Capriotti, 100% correct, King. He's good talking about Blankenship. Not great, typically in the right spot, solid tackler, and important to have a locker room guy. It was, and I just don't know where the Eagles are right now. Reed Blankenship will be missed. Thanks, TMM. Great show with Angelo. Reed was great. We'll miss you, Dom Adams. Agreed with me about BG. I love BG. He's a great guy. Great person. And had a great career here. But you got to know when to say when. And it's just a paycheck's one thing. But I don't think he'll be back. The money kills coaches, losing good players. And they've lost good players. It's not always the coach who say, oh, he'll be gone. It's just, that was a great question. Who's going to win a championship next for the Eagles? I don't have any idea. All right. I want to thank everybody for joining the show. Sixers, I don't know that you need to pay attention to anything that they do anymore. And the records that people throw out about the NBA, SGA, past Wilt Chamberlain for most consecutive 20-point games. Who cares? It's so different right now. Don't compare him to Wilt Chamberlain. Thanks to Joe Gangemi on the other side with the technical stuff. Thanks to Tony Anastasia for all the good work she does with the graphics and the website. And thanks to you for joining the program. We'll see you on Wednesday. Thanks for riding with the King on the Howard Eskin Show. Have a great weekend. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I almost forgot that. And don't get too wasted. See ya. Whoa. Oh, 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 oh. Yes, K-I-N. Oh, yeah. Hey, you turn it up, Philly. It's time to roll on the ones and twos, taking full control from the link to the X, from the Sixers to the Fields. One voice cuts through, giving you the real. He broke the stories, he started the fire, lost the whole game back in '86, never retired. Heroes crown him, yeah, they call him the king. Fur coat flashing, bling bling in every ring. He's the hardest working, play talking dog. Call in with your tape, but don't get it wrong. He'll call you a nitwit if you're acting a fool, but deep down you love it. That's the Eskin rule. Riding with the king, yeah, we're riding with the king. Howard Eskin Show, let the truth ring. Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, he knows the deal. Philly sports royalty, bow down and kneel. Riding with the king, put your hands in the air. From South Philly streets to the Delaware. No filter, no fear, just the facts on the mic. It's the Howard Eskin Show. Let's go get sight. Hey, riding with the king. Riding with the king. Hey, riding with the king. Riding with the king.